glutathione, I just wanted to touch base on this, that if you're going to use our glutathione patch or you're going to take a glutathione supplement and you're going to use that for a period of time for detoxification, just keep in mind that glutathione is so important to your health that it is correlated with longevity. And even this study, which was a combination of glycine and N-acetylcysteine, which is a precursor to glutathione, showed a 24% increase in lifespan in mammals, in mice, and then also in rats. So my suggestion is you have a lifelong program of keeping your glutathione levels elevated, because it's going to have enormous, far-reaching benefits in protecting your hearing, protecting your immune system, and protecting your DNA and your cells from damage, which is going to lead to better longevity and better overall health. So that is super important. And of course, on these webinars, we always provide references and clinical studies. So here's one clinical study that was published showing the link between glycine and NAC, which are precursors to glutathione, and improvement in longevity. Okay, so let's go back over here now and look at why does glutathione play such an important role in helping us to get in shape? Mm-hmm. A pleasant surprise is that X39, what we found in our studies, conserves glutathione levels. So if you're trying to protect your body's levels of glutathione and you're using X39, you're going to be able to see a 30 to 40% increase in glutathione levels. Now, on our glutathione patch, which we would recommend for detox, that's more like a 300% increase. So that would be the difference between using the glutathione patch and X39. So if you want to maintain your glutathione levels and you're using X39, you're doing great. If you want to go through a detox every month or two, or you're going to use glutathione in a different way, then you use the glutathione patch. But here's one of the things, whether or not we're talking about X39 or glutathione patch, when there is a glutathione deficiency and the mitochondria, which produces energy, can be disrupted. So let's look at this. You're consuming a diet rich in proteins, fats, carbohydrates. There's toxins in the food. And as a result of metabolizing that food and converting it to energy, our body generates metabolic waste. And the metabolic wastes will consist of oxidative chemicals. And if we don't control that oxidative stress with glutathione, it will damage the mitochondria. When people get to about age 50, they will experience mitochondrial dysfunction, meaning their cells are not producing as much energy as they should. And now to survive, the metabolism drops and the body will switch to burning more sugar for energy than fat. So if we're doing that, that means we're storing more body fat and we're not metabolizing that body fat for energy. So if you don't quite understand where that extra weight is coming from, it could be from depleted levels of glutathione, and it could be from diminished mitochondrial function. And this is independent of things such as having poor thyroid function. They can coexist. So meaning, let's say that you're someone who's having a problem with their thyroid. If you upregulate mitochondrial function, that can still improve metabolism and contribute to improving thyroid function as long as you put some other things in place. But this is important to understand. And it's also helps you get an idea of where the problem is originating. And when we understand that, then we have a means to fix the problem. So this is all to say, as one way of reducing that extra body fat, if we support the health of the mitochondria, we increase fat burning, and we can do that through improved glutathione as one pathway. So glutathione will not only help to get these foreign chemicals out of the body, but it also is going to protect the very important centers, the power generators in your cell that will help your body burn that extra fat. Okay. So let's see, we want to go back over to, I think we covered that. Now, one other comment here is on glutathione is so important that it actually contributes to survival of the mitochondria. And while it's not in this clinical study, it also supports survival of your DNA. Let's say that you're in a place like Aruba, you go out in the sun and you get too much ultraviolet light, and you're somebody that's not using the patches. The UV light can damage the DNA, and it can cause breaks in the DNA. There's a study that was done that shows that if you keep your glutathione levels elevated, it can repair the damage to the DNA before the cells divide and not take that mutation into the next cell division. So that's how important glutathione is. In this particular case, we're referring to mitochondrial glutathione, so glutathione that's in the mitochondria protecting it from damage, and the same rules apply. So this is just another study that reinforces this idea that we need, glutathione to protect the power cell of our cells. And this has impacts on every other thing in our body. So it's very easy to see that if we let our glutathione levels become depleted, we're going to inhibit the ability of our body to metabolize fat. And this is going to have an effect on how long we live. So if we're using a product like the glutathione patch or X39, we can support our body's levels of glutathione. Okay. So this I thought would be interesting to look at. One traditional way of getting glutathione is by IV. Of course, we're elevating glutathione with light. But I thought what would be interesting about this is just so you can see how some clinics are marketing glutathione. And one way they're doing it is for athletes. And since we're talking about exercising, getting back in shape, I wanted to show this. Now, I have, as most of you know, back in the 90s, I was developing survival equipment for the U.S. Navy through government contractors. And I was friends with a retired 3-star general, and we went down to Fort Rucker in Alabama and had a meeting there to talk about the patch technology. And one of the things I found out that the U.S. military was interested in, and I'm not giving away any top secret here, is that by the year 2025, they wanted to have all active military personnel on a glutathione supplement. And so I asked why. And what they told me with these medical doctors and scientists at Army Aeromedical said, we are starting to think of, and this was back, by the way, in 2007. They said, we are beginning to think of soldiers as high performance athletes. So when we look at research, we want to know, what do high performance athletes use and what do they need to stay in shape and get maximum performance? And they said the United States Army research came to the conclusion that the single most important ingredient for optimizing performance was glutathione. Now, this was back in 2007, and they didn't know about the benefits of copper peptide, both GHK and AHK at that time. LifeWave actually did the pioneering research in using those peptides for athletic performance. So they didn't know about that then. But back in 2007, it was glutathione, and they still have that mission today. So this is just all to say that one of the benefits that you're going to get from elevating glutathione through X39 or the glutathione patch is performance enhancement. We usually think of this as for detoxification, but if you're engaging in healthy eating and exercise and you're keeping your glutathione levels elevated for detox, you're also getting the added benefit that this is going to support your exercise program. Okay. So one last thing about glutathione before we move on to another segment here. Just the last word on this is here is another clinical study that was published in the Journal of the International Society for Sports Nutrition on the role of elevating glutathione and suppressing muscle fatigue. So this is, there's a number of ways, of course, of testing this, and we've done many clinical studies over the years looking at the role of our energy patches, CARNOSINE patch, X49 on improving athletic performance, and they've all turned out very well. But here's some third-party research basically showing that, yes, if we elevate glutathione, we can improve strength and stamina.